Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Tony, founder of Spark. I'm going to give you a full demo of the software. So if you are coming from Smart or ALN, it might be a little confusing, but if you are new to this, it might be a little more intuitive. But we're still working on some features and kind of educating how to do some of these things. So I'm going to run through these now. Let's say that you are starting fresh, you've never logged in, and you want to start the new search. We kind of have it like Airbnb. It's pretty basic, but my general rule of thumb is the more open you keep these filters, the more results you're going to get. Now, the main difference between us and competitors is that we use unit specific pricing and availability. We don't give you ranges or, you know, like the price range the last 2 weeks or something like that. Like we're telling you this unit is available now, and we tell you when this pricing was last updated. Right now, our goal is at least once every 3 days. We do prioritize if teams have certain advertisements they have going and they want to make sure that their property that they have up when they send it to their clients, we can keep that updated daily. But for the most part, we try to do it every 3 days. There are some properties that, they don't share pricing or they just generally don't communicate or with locators. We don't really give much priority to tracking that because there's no pricing to share, right? So it just kind of depends on the property. But this is what the community profile looks like. So pretty straightforward. You got the floor plans that you can see, of course. So let's say that we're on the phone with somebody and they want a 1 bedroom downtown under 2,800. This is now going to do, of course, is leave all results, right? As you would expect. We have things set a little bit differently. So instead of having a bunch of menus and different tabs, the power of this field is you can type anything in here. So I said 2,800, 1 bed, 1 bath downtown. You can go in here and choose the neighborhood. So like if I just do type down, hit enter, that works. So I'll just click out of here and let this load. So here's what we got. I'll add floor plans for this one. But let's say that you just wanted to add like a full property. Just click the heart. And when you send this to your client, which I'll show later, it's going to include all the floor plans. If you wanted to include, let's say, Sienna at the Thompson, let's say for whatever the preferences are, like when you're talking to them, these three you think would be best, or maybe even just this one unit. So if they have to move July 16th, hit this heart. And then when you send this list to them, that's only going to have this unit. So it keeps things very clean for your clients. So we'll X out of here. We'll do a couple more. And let's send these to our first client. So we'll just do make up an email. And then here's the point about the email and sending these clients. So what's happening now is what makes a unique record or a unique person in Spark is the name and the email. So if you just need, like if you're talking to somebody on Facebook and they don't yet want to give information, all that matters is this email and phone number currently do not exist in your client's section. So this allows you to just quickly send something even if you don't have their accurate information. So we can put a message down here and we'll send this off. So now they're going to get a text and an email of this list, which looks like this. So there's a lists tab. This is just a general list of every version of a report that you've sent. So we just sent this to Erica, and this is what Erica is going to see. So just like this is her exact view. So Erica can go in, and remember seeing it at the Thompson, we only selected one unit. So this is what she's going to see. So if she likes this, she can give it a thumbs up or, write some notes in here. And it's saved. So, and then you get the map over here as well. So let's say she X out of that. Alexa Waterloo, she can give some feedback to this one. Oh, and then, so The reason they're showing 1, 2, and 3 beds is because I selected the hearts on the properties page before I entered the filter. So let's go back and adjust that. So if we want to, what property was that? So Alexa Waterloo. So this is another important point. So what's not the clearest, and I know this needs to be better, is this link that you've sent your client is never going to change. They're going to get a text and an email that it's been updated, but it's the same link. So everything here is going to be dynamic. You can add to it, remove to it. When pricing changes, it's going to reflect in here automatically. You don't have to resend the report. So that's the concept there. So let's update this. I'm going to resend this report, the Lux and Waterloo updated. So Erica gets the notice. She can refresh the page. And then when she opens up Alexa and Waterloo, she's going to see only the 1 bed. Now, what does this look like in the client's view? Let's open up her profile, click the clients tab right here. Click just anywhere in that row. And this sent properties section is sort of your back-end view to their list. So if we want to go in and delete Alexa and Waterloo, hit this delete, hit yes. So now when she refreshes the page, Alexa and Waterloo, wait, which one did I just delete? Oh, it's because I had it on here. I had a couple had units. So I have to delete, excuse me, delete the units. So it's super granular, right? Which is great. It's powerful and it's clean. But if she refreshes this again, she's only going to see 1 unit left because we've deleted all the others. Bam. So it's perfectly clean, perfectly accurate, no fluff and no mess. So now if we delete this last unit, and again, sorry if I'm doing too many examples, that property falls off this list. We can always add it back later, but so far, this is how this list updates. Same link. And you can text this as well. So like if for some reason she can't find it or there was some delivery issue, you can just text this yourself to her, right? Just like in your messages or something. But let's look at the client section. So this is her profile. Lots of details. Another call out on the sent properties section is if you want to hide the property names, just toggle this on and it just makes it just general info. Still keeps all the pricing and availability. Let's turn it back off and then the names will come back. So super helpful. If you've been ghosted, you can toggle that. And it's going to say contact your agent. So you can add roommates, you can add detailed info. And this is where you can add the preferences and the filters. And this is where you can create the invoice, which I'll show later. So one cool thing here is it works both ways. So like if you start on the properties page, you can just start running a search without creating a client, right? Because what we did was we started here, had no client information. We just started right from the beginning. And then we sent that report, which created the new client. But the other way that you can do it is if you want to start with a client, and I would say for sane purposes, when you're creating these dummy emails, just go in order. So just start with 1, 2, 3, 4 or something, or 0, 0, 0, 0. And then if you're creating the next one, just do 0, 0, 1. If you're having to create these just example numbers. So we've got that. So let's leave this blank for now. Keep it simple. Let's say she can move right now. And then the latest she can move in is August 13th. We're going to do 1 bed, 1 bath. Let's stick to downtown. 2,800. All right, cool. So there's a few buttons here. So save and return to clients page just returns you to this page. But if you want to take these filters and apply them to the like carry them over to the properties page, go up and then do, where's that button? I need to update that. Maybe it has to save first. Oh, that's why. Yeah. So we've got her info saved. Scroll up, do find and send recommendations now. So what it did is it carried over these preferences. So now you're searching for Erica example, right? So in this case, we could click, what works for her. And then in this case, you would do send for properties. You're doing it for an existing client. And then type in your message here. So what this is saying is, hey, you've already sent her a report. This is going to merge these properties with what you've already sent her, if you've sent her anything. So hit send. So now Erica has this list here. So this is Erica's link and report. So pretty useful stuff. Let's get clients another way. So let me refresh this and start clean. So a really powerful feature is the generate leads. So let's see what this is. So in the generate leads tab, you have two forms that you can use to get leads. That's the first one. So one's short, one's long. This is the long form. So use this for when you think you would need more details or, just depending on where you're posting this on social media. And then you've got the short form. So you can put this on TikTok, Instagram, etc. Let's do another client here. Oh, that's email. Cool. So now in your view as an agent, you're going to get a lead come in to your generate leads tab. So you can open this up and look at their details. Of course, I use the basic form, so it's not going to have a ton of info, but it has everything in here, right? So if you are ready to work with them, you can do convert to client, and this is going to carry it over to your clients tab. So now, if you want to search for the preferences that carried over, so this is all saved for you. You don't have to type this in. But what's super helpful is if you click find and send recommendations now, it also carries it over one more time to this tab. And for some reason, it put Austin as the neighborhood, so I'll fix that. But it carries over the filter preferences over here, which you do have to be careful of. If I think we fixed this, but if it carries over too many amenities, it knocks out and filters down the results too much. So I think we took that out. But it saves the info. You can keep doing your search, and then same as before. We're going to send this to Johnson, add a message, and then you're done. So from the time that you get a new lead to how quickly that you send out a report can be under 30 seconds. So you can do this on the phone, like multitasking in under 30 seconds and still send a detailed report with their preferences without typing a single thing. Trying to think what else. So the other cool feature is what's probably easiest is to switch this to a view that has 100 for the rows. And the way this works is even as you switch pages, the 4 that you've selected always stay at the top of the list and in view, so you know we've selected. So even if you're switching back and forth between pages or between, the pages tier, these 4 are always going to stay at the top. So let's say that we want to look for gray star properties. So remember what I said about how we kind of wanted to keep these menus minimal? What you could do is use this search box. So this search box filters for any word or phrase or number. So if we wanted to look for, let's look for gray star properties and see what comes up. And again, this does tend to run a little slow when you have a list of 100, but it sometimes is much quicker. But let's type in gray star. So now it's pulling up all the gray star properties. And the way that you know this is when you open this up, obviously it has the management company, but it's just really, really dynamic. So if you wanted to add a couple of gray star properties for some reason, so let's save those 3. I'm going to switch this to 50 so it's a little bit quicker. Let's try something else. Let's say you want to find something with 2 months free. Like you want to find everything that has 2 months free. So we can add the specials column. We have it off by default because it takes up a lot of space. But let's say that you wanted to find 2 months free. So you do 2 months. It's an example of everything that has 2 months listed in it. And we had to do it this way because, you know, different properties write these different ways. And the only way that I could get it to work in every single example is to do it like this. So it it highlights the text for you. So we've got 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. So that's cool. Now, the other thing too is let's take a look at the amenities. So we have more amenities listed than this on the property profile, but we're balanced between what to show up here and then what's actually listed. So for example, I'm trying to think of an amenity that only like 2 or 3 have. Like if there's a property with the community garden, there's probably only going to be like 4 or 5 out of our entire system, which has about 7,000 properties. So when someone clicks on that, they only see 2 results. It makes them think that there's not that many properties on here. So if you wanted to look for, let's say you wanted to find fenced yards, but you didn't want to have to click this box. You could type in fenced or yard, it doesn't matter. Fenced actually would pull up fenced community as well. So let's just type in yard and see how that works. So again, it's still keeping your properties that you've selected up at the top. So all the properties now down here have, well, technically, and this one either has yard in the name, but more specifically, if you look at the amenities listed here, it's got the there you go, fenced yards. So all of these should have fenced yards. Yeah. So it works for amenities. This should be highlighted though. I'll fix that. But that's how this search field works up here. It's just more dynamic than using checkboxes if you're trying to find one-off. So, you could add a couple yards. Trying to think of an amenity that we have on the back end, but not listed on here. What about golf simulator? Like if you type in golf, because you're not always going to know the exact name if you're just now using this for the first time. But if you just try typing in golf, it'll pull up everything that has a golf simulator. So that's kind of the power of the text thing up here. So this also works for addresses, works for the names. If you type in Amley, pulls up all the Am. Kind of the other cool thing that you can't do on the others is you can do multiple cities at once. So if you have somebody trying to move or like consider moving to either Austin or San Antonio, actually let's use Houston. We don't have a lot of agents using San Antonio. So you can continue searching in Houston. Oh, it's because I got family. That's why. So save your listings at the top still, but now you can start searching for Houston. I will say when I started the Johnson search, oops, the search for Johnson, after that lead came in, this I'll show you at the end here. So this neighborhood info is a free form. So the way that shows up in the client section for their profile is, where does that come up? Does that carry over? Dang, it's not saving the neighborhoods. All right, I'll fix that. But the point is, it's going to show up as more of a note rather than like a tag. So you'll see it listed in like the notes section here. And then when you go over to search for them, you would just add that to the neighborhood section. So let me think what else. Sending a guest card is pretty simple. So actually what's really important here is before you send a guest card, you need to go into your settings, fill out your broker info, and this is where you can add your IABs, your logo if you have one. And what this does is when you send these guest cards, it has all the info for the apartments to see. So that's an important call out for that. So guest cards, click the plus button. And the reason it's called in person with broker. So for Texas agents, this basically just means escort is what this means. And this is just send. It's the exact same thing. So you're in Austin, you can choose your community and then just the time and the date. So this is going to pre-write an email, send it to the community, CC you and your client. And what it's going to do is, hey, I've got Johnson wanting to schedule a tour for July 15th, obviously not 2:16 a.m. But what it's also going to do is when it sends the email, let's clear this out. When it sends the email, it's going to say, hey, I have a tour interested. By the way, are you currently paying 105%? Send 105 S4 commission. And it's going to include this line. So it's pre-typing all this out for you so that when they confirm the appointment, they can also confirm the commission, saving you a phone call. So that's how the guest cards work. Now, a lot of people ask if they can just register 100 people at once. We don't have that feature right now because we don't want people to abuse the system. So we're thinking about some options like a middle ground, maybe 5 to 10 properties, but at the moment you cannot register a person or not a person, a client at, like, you can't register them in bulk. So unfortunately right now that is one by one, but at least you're not typing the email. Now, if you want to send like a basic registration email, you can go into the emails tab and use this template. And what this is going to do is just say, hey, I'm registering Johnson, but don't do anything with him yet. Don't call him. I'll follow up with the client when he's ready to schedule. And this way you're at least putting the name in the system, but you're not having to schedule a tour. And these kind of brackets down here just means that it's going to pull in the information automatically. So this is going to pull from your settings, right? Your broker information. It's going to pull in the preferences that you have in their client profile. So the more, the better, but it's going to do all this for you. So that is that. The invoices section, pretty straightforward, but you can track everything here. Create the invoices here. I'll go through the full process. It's pretty self-explanatory. I will say that we do have brokerage options where if you are a broker or a team manager, you can manage agents under you and track all their invoices. So like in this case, I'm a standalone agent. So when I submit invoices, it goes, for me to the building, right? And then they would pay your broker as normal. But let's say I managed a team of 10 agents. I would have another tab, like another page here just called agents. So when my agents submit an invoice on their profile just like this, instead of sending it to the building, it goes to me. So like I, as the team manager, would now have all my team's invoices under here, and I can track, send, edit, adjust, download, all those details. Will open up. Yeah. So that's the invoicing. Trying to think what else. I think I'll end there. Anytime you guys have issues, just hit the green question mark. We're adding a couple of different fields in this, so it's a little bit more specific on what you're asking. But just send us a message. We monitor this all the time and usually get back within a few minutes. So if we're missing a property, we can usually add that the same day. Or if you just see something that's missing, just let us know. We'll fix it right away.